Tonight on Newsnight, find out why one man's attempt to avoid a bill landed him behind bars.
Plus the details of a Pitt student's murder over the weekend. See what police are asking the community.
And we'll take a look at the latest news on Point Park's campus. Newsnight begins now. Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Sarah Gibson alongside Casey Hoolahan. We begin tonight with news from Pittsburgh's South Side. A Pittsburgh man was arrested this past week after police say he called in a bomb threat to avoid paying for his tab. According to WPXI, 40-year-old Barry Clapperton was unable to pay his tab at Permane Brothers on East Carson Street and was seen attempting to escape several times without paying. Witnesses say that he was repeatedly dragged back into the restaurant and told to pay his tab until police had to get involved. Right after a friend paid his bill, police say they heard him calling in a bomb threat to Nakama, a restaurant a few blocks down the street. Clapperton proceeded to run down the street in an effort to escape, but was apprehended by police shortly thereafter. Clapperton later said that his friend advised he call in the bomb threat to create a distraction from police. Clapperton is being charged with threats to use weapons of mass destruction, public drunkenness, false identification to police, terroristic threats, and escape. He is unable to post bond.
This past Sunday, Pittsburgh police discovered the body of 20-year-old Pitt student Alina Shaiket. According to a report from KDKA, Shaiket's body was found badly bruised and beaten, and paramedics declared her dead at the scene due to blunt force trauma. Police are currently looking for Shaiket's ex-boyfriend, Matt Darby, as a person of interest. Shaiket had ordered a protection from abuse order, or PFA, against Darby this September after he had broken into the home she was renting in Oakland. Darby was arrested for the break-in but was later released after posting bond. A warrant has been issued for Darby for violating the PFA. Darby has not yet been found but was recently charged with homicide. Anyone with information on Darby and his whereabouts are asked to contact Pittsburgh police.
We turn now to the latest news from around campus. Here with more from our partners of the Globe is Brianna McCall. Bree?
Thanks, Sarah. Point Park brings back another great family weekend for parents and students to reunite. This past weekend, parents were back on campus for a wonderful weekend of food, theater shows, and some Pioneer fun. Point Park held many events on campus which showed families what the Pioneers are all about. The weekend started off with a doubleheader from both the men and women's soccer team at the Highmark Stadium. The men's soccer team defeated Midway University with a high of 4 points. The women's soccer team also brought home another victory win for Point Park. Following that same night, the women's volleyball team held a game in the Student Center gym against West Virginia University, winning 3 out of the 4 sets. According to the Globe, cinema production majors screened some of their films on both Friday and Saturday night. Alan Tannen, a freshman 3D animation major, stated, quote, "All of the movies were actually really good. I was very impressed with each of them," end quote. Then, on Saturday afternoon, Point Park shuttles brought families to and from the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium. Later on that night, they wrapped things up with Java and Jazz in Village Park with some music and great food. Family weekend finished off on Sunday morning with family brunch and another soccer game at Highmark Stadium. On Friday night, around 11 p.m., the 7th floor of Lawrence Hall was flooded from a bursting pipe that came from the ceiling. Two students, Vanessa Vivas and Maya Burns, were on the 7th floor trying to do homework when one of them noticed a really loud rushing sound. The first time they heard it, they ignored the noise, but then the students noticed that it was getting louder. Director of Operations Matt Abbott said it was a small hot water pipe that exploded in the ceiling. This caused them to turn off the hot water in the entire building for the night. According to the Globe, the students contacted public safety after realizing what the issue was. After responding within minutes, it took engineers about an hour to finally get the water to stop gushing out. By then, water had already made its way to the 6th floor. Maintenance also made sure they vacuumed out the water and cleaned up any damages that affected the offices on the 7th floor. This past Tuesday, Mayor Bill Peduto joined the Department of Education to be a guest speaker for the education program. Peduto is the first of the program series of guest speakers. Dr. Eric Stinnett, Director of the Education Department in Leadership and Administration Program, said, quote, We feel like he exhibits leadership characteristics and qualities that are indicative of outstanding leaders, end quote. According to the Globe, Peduto discussed about the history of Pittsburgh as well as ending hunger and homelessness, poverty, economics, diversity issues, and dealing with direct conflict. Students got the chance to ask questions and be inspired by the mayor, who cares about the economy and the future. After a great speech from the mayor, the event ended with a standing ovation. That's all I have for campus news. Let's head back over to the desk. Casey and Sarah at the desk.
Thanks, Brianna. When we return, we will tackle football and politics when the Vice President visits a Colts game.
And the latest on the wildfires in the western part of the country.
And later in the show, we'll check in on the latest sports news. We'll be right back.
What would you do to create something that could survive 1,000 years? You'd start with a formula, head to the lab, and forge it with fire. Just imagine everything it could do. It could leak pollutants into the soil and water, or it could conserve energy, cut CO2 emissions, and reduce raw material. Recycling is more than cutting waste. Recycling is about the legacy you want to leave. Why on earth would you want to do anything else? Recycle. Don't throw away our chance at survival.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Krupp alongside Jess Paterchak. Tonight we begin with
The mayor is continuing to deal with the challenges the city is facing.
But tomorrow we have just a little bit of cloudiness.
off throughout the day with some strong wind gusts. That's going to continue tomorrow. 20
Teams have already started talking to free agents. Saturday's partly cloudy, but 70 degrees? Where is the pool at? I mean, come on.
You might have already burned your bracket, ripped it up. I am Royce Jones.
And I'm Casey Hoolahan.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight.
UView Television is live here at the Center for Media Innovation with a very exclusive interview with Point Park's Black Diamond, our school mascot. We're taking questions on our social media at UView Television.
Our first question came in from @PointParkU Black Diamond. They want to know, what is one thing you love about Point Park?
UView.
I knew it.
UView's the best.
It is. All right, Alex, you want to read our next question?
Okay, we have another question from Point Park Cab. They're asking, when is the next time you're going to make a surprise appearance at their next event?
He's being coy. Looks like we're going to have to show up.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see.
All right, that's all we have for right now, but you can submit your own questions at UView Television, and we might read one of yours after the break.
After the presidential visit to Las Vegas following the mass murder that occurred there last week, Vice President Mike Pence flew to his home state of Indiana to watch the Indianapolis Colts take on the San Francisco 49ers. According to ABC News, Pence only stayed for a matter of minutes, however, and left after some players knelt during the national anthem. The national anthem protests were started by 49ers backup quarterback Colin Kaepernick, and at least 20 players knelt in Indianapolis on Sunday. After leaving, Pence put out a statement that read, quote, "I left today's Colts game because President Trump and I will not dignify any events that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem." According to an ABC News estimate, the flight on the Air Force C-32 from Vegas to Indianapolis, combined with the return flight, cost taxpayers nearly $250,000. The speculation of Pence's flight costs come just over a week after Secretary of Health and Human Services Tom Price resigned over abuse of the military aircraft provided to government officials. Investigations of other government officials regarding airfare are ongoing.
Wildfires have been raging across Northern California. This collection of fires is being considered one of the most destructive fire emergencies in the state's history. The wildfires have already killed 10 people and sent over 100 to hospitals. Over 20,000 people have evacuated and more than 1,500 buildings have been destroyed. The fires began around 10 p.m. on Sunday night and were fanned by flames of up to 50 miles per hour. Governor Jerry Brown issued emergency proclamations for several counties in the area, saying the fire had damaged thousands of homes and critical infrastructure. He also requested President Trump to declare it a major disaster. Wildfires in California are often worse in October than any other month due to the dry conditions and heavy winds, The fire's cause is still being investigated.
Coming up, an update on Puerto Rico.
Plus, the latest political news from North Korea.
And we'll take a look at the world of sports with Megan Macioce. We'll be right back.
I shouldn't have to pay to walk down the street. Pay with my comfort, my freedom, my peace. Always on guard, on edge, off limits. Don't follow me, don't touch me, don't treat me like I'm yours. I don't need your whistles, your comments, your eyes. I already know I'm a prize. My confidence isn't for sale. Respect me, don't inspect me.
And when people ask us who can join UView, the answer really is anybody, and we mean anybody. Any major, any experience level. Some people, have a lot of experience coming out of high school, and others don't know how to really sit on a couch properly, and that's okay. We're here just to give you the chance to learn and have fun and prepare yourself for the real world. College, after all, it's all about trying new things.
Kim Jong-un has promoted his younger sister to Politburo, the most important political body in North Korea. The New York Times reports the appointment comes just a day before the 20th anniversary of when their father, Kim Jong-il, was chosen as the General Secretary of the Workers' Party. Kim Yo-jong was made an alternate member of Politburo. She is the only one of Kim Jong-un's siblings who is also actively involved in the government and currently leads the propaganda department of the ruling Workers' Party of North Korea. Kim Yo-jong is believed to be 28 to 30 years old, which would make her the youngest member of Politburo thus far. She was chosen at a meeting for the Central Committee for the Ruling Workers of the Party of North Korea. Her promotion was announced Sunday by the state-run Korean Central News Agency.
3 weeks after Maria hit Puerto Rico, residents continue to struggle to return to normalcy, especially those who were already ill or vulnerable before the hurricane hit. According to a recent report from CNN, only about 9% of residents have power, and many still don't have access to clean drinking water. While most hospitals have reopened, many residents have already perished due to the inability to receive their regular care, such as oxygen or insulin. Limited access to fuel has caused generators to fail, limiting residents access to the equipment they need to live. According to reporters from the New York Times, many patients are suffering from a bacterial disease caused by exposure to the floodwater. The fatalities count has risen to 43.
Turning from the headlines to the sidelines, we have Megan Macioce with us to bring us up to speed on the latest sport news. Megan?
Thanks, girls. The NFL was a roller coaster of emotions this weekend, but let's start with some good news. On Sunday, the Indianapolis Colts retired Peyton Manning's famous number 18 jersey and inducted him into their Ring of Honor. Per ESPN, Manning was the first overall pick in the 1998 NFL Draft, and he would go on to lead the Colts to 11 playoff runs, 2 Super Bowl games, and collect 5 MVP awards. Manning was released by the Colts in 2012 after missing all of the 2011 season with a neck injury. Manning was then signed by the Denver Broncos, and he would go on to win Super Bowl 50. He re-signed with the Colts the following year for a one-day contract to officially retire as a Colt. Sunday's ceremony also had a few of Manning's teammates, like center Jeff Saturday and wide receivers Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Now for the bad news. Week 5 had few touchdowns and plenty of injuries. The Houston Texans defensive end J.J. Watt fractured his tibial plateau, and outside linebacker Whitney Mercilus tore his pectoral. Both are out for the season. The undefeated Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Chris Conley suffered a season-ending injury Sunday night, and tight end Travis Kelce is expected to be out 2 to 4 weeks with a concussion. But the team with the worst luck is the New York Giants. Sunday afternoon, they lost 4 receivers to injuries. 2 of them are season-ending. Odell Beckham Jr. broke his ankle and is having surgery later this week. Dwayne Harris fractured his foot and is having surgery next week. And Sterling Shepard and Brandon Marshall both suffered sprained ankles. Hopefully next week is a slow day for the medical staff. From the field to the ice, Washington Capitals captain Alexander Ovechkin became the first player in NHL history to open a season with 2 back-to-back hat tricks. Per ESPN, Ovechkin recorded the first hat trick Thursday night versus the Ottawa Senators, and then scored all 3 goals for his second hat trick in the first period against the Montreal Canadiens. No player in NHL history has done that since the inaugural season in 1917, when Joe Malone and Reg Noble each accomplished this as well. With the offense on fire so early in the season, maybe this will be the year the Caps finally make it past the second round. While it could be the Caps here, it is definitely not the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox lost yesterday to the Houston Astros in Game 4 of the American League Division Series. The most surprising part of the game was when manager A.J. Hinch put Justin Verlander in as the relief pitcher in the bottom of the 5th inning. In Verlander's 13-year professional career, he has never once been a relief pitcher. On his first ever relief pitch, he ended up giving up a 2-homer to rookie Andrew Benintendi. That put the Red Sox up 3-2. But the Astros rallied and won the game 5-4 and move on to the American League Championship Series that begins this Friday. The Washington Nationals and Chicago Cubs also played Monday, and the Cubs lead the series 2-4. Game 4 was supposed to begin at 5:30 this evening. However, due to the rain, it has been postponed until tomorrow. The first pitch will be at 3:08. The New York Yankees and Cleveland Indians also played yesterday, and the Yankees won 7-3. The series is all tied up, and the final game will be played in Cleveland Wednesday at 8 p.m. The LA Dodgers swept the Arizona Diamondbacks and will either face the Cubs or Nationals this Saturday in the National League Championship Series. That's the latest in the sports world. Let's head back over to Casey and Sarah at the desk.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Sarah Gibson, I'm Casey Hoolahan. Have a great night.